Every step you take on the chilly streets would cause your hopes to fade, but what if you were neglected for years? One chance meeting could transform everything for someone who is struggling. A famous actor turns an artist's life upside down, and the unexpected turn of events that ensue will leave you speechless. It's a chilly, cloudy afternoon in the city of dreams, downtown Los Angeles, yet for some people, it's a location. Keanu Reeves strolls along the pavement, relishing the infrequent opportunity to. His fame, which is often overpowering, has given him a distinct outlook on life. He sees a woman sitting on the pavement with an easel in front of her canvas as he turns a corner close to a busy thoroughfare. Has a lovely incomplete painting of a serene environment, but her eyes convey a different message. She appears to have gone days without eating, and Keanu pauses to observe her. The painting's edges are tattered and her clothing is worn, giving the impression that she's been dragging it about for too long. It appears that a part of her soul is depicted on the canvas, yet the brutality of. Keanu pauses, then slowly, the world has taken its toll on her. Approaches the woman and asks, "Hey, are you okay?" in a stern yet gentle tone. Her eyes soften as she knows him, but she looks up, startled by the inquiry. She glances down once more hastily, uncertain whether to answer, "I'm fine," but her voice falters a little as she wipes a tear from her face, praying he didn't. Observe how Keanu just stands there without saying anything at first. Seeing the situation and the hardship this woman is going through, the world never stops. For those like her, but Keanu is different from everyone else, his presence on. Despite being out of the ordinary for someone so well known, the street seems to be the storm's calm. People pass her all day long. Some give her a pathetic look, while others show curiosity, something she isn't used to. Disregard her completely. Her passion and art seem lost here in the chilly streets of. She had high hopes in the metropolis, but they were crushed under the burden. Keanu observes her for a while longer, taking in the minute features that. Messy hair, the tiny trembling in her fingers as she grasps a paintbrush, the. Miles replies, "Why aren't you at a gallery?" while her shoes seem to be breaking apart as though she has been walking for him without a goal in mind. His tone is inquisitive but not critical, and she laughs angrily and shakes her head. "Would want to purchase my artwork, but it's worthless because her voice is no higher than a murmur now, as though discussing her enthusiasm causes pain, but Keanu doesn't. Instead of reacting right away, he steps back and inhales deeply. He is struck by something in her voice that conveys a sense of hopelessness. It's not just about art. Concerning the missed chances and ambitions given up due to the harsh realities of life. Reality. After a lengthy moment, he says, "I think you're wrong," his eyes meeting. "There's something about this piece that speaks, and it's really lovely." She looks at him, and I'm not sure if he's just being courteous, but Keanu's eyes are. Her suspicion is evident in the tight line, but his remarks are genuine and unfake. Of her lips, but instead of pushing him away, she lets out a trembling breath and starts to tell him how she had owned a gallery and dreamed of being a well-known artist worldwide, but when she became homeless, those dreams were set aside since the day-to-day realities of surviving left little space for. As he hears the anguish in her words, hope Keanu's eyes soften. See how much her art still means to her, despite the fact that life has attempted to destroy it at times, he says. His speech was hardly audible, but it doesn't mean you should stop. The woman pauses while dreaming, her hands slightly tightening their grasp on her paintbrush. She is unsure of how to respond when someone truly believes in her and recognizes her for who she is not.
Simply her troubles. She doesn't talk at first, but there are a lot of understanding and unsaid words in the air between them. That surpasses what they can both express. Keanu moves one step closer to. Quickly exactly there, and then the woman sighs deeply and says, "I used to." Keanu smiles softly, but I'm not sure if I can still believe that. Glimmer of hope in his eyes, wondering what may happen if you could. The woman looks at him unsurely but curiously, wondering why Keanu doesn't do it right now. Aunt could change everything for you. Instead of responding, he observes the street and the people going about their hectic lives, ignoring the brief conversation between two strangers and continuing on. I want to help you, but not in the way you think, he says, leaning in a little. The world is unaware of what you have here, but Keanu's words continue to reverberate. The woman looks at him with her brow raised in the air, promising something more. Frowning in bewilderment, is this just another instance when someone says anything pleasant to cheer her up, or might it be something genuine? She finds it difficult to trust because she's had so many broken promises in the past, but something about Keanu's composed manner, his steadfast faith in her, causes her to stop, unsure of what to say. Keanu gives her a comforting smile as she watches him try to read him. I know you're probably thinking this is just sympathy, but his eyes are still soft. I've noticed something in your artwork, and I wish to assist you in placing it in its proper place. She has heard others discuss art before, but when it is truly appreciated, her heart skips a beat. Nobody had ever perceived her as more than a woman in need. Nobody had ever thought of her as an artist with potential. The notion that Keanu Reeves does, in fact, have sufficient faith in her. It's both unbelievable and humble to say anything like this, she says. What do you mean? Keanu inhales deeply as the tremor of hope pierces her tough facade, and her voice is barely above a whisper. He takes out his phone, touching it many times. I have contacts who can recognize your work for what it truly is, and I can get the proper people, the right gallery owners, to view this piece. The woman looks at him with the eyes of those who truly understand what ability looks like. You're serious? She asks, her features clouded by skepticism. Keanu nods his head to contain the tears that are about to fall. You're telling me you can make a difference for me, he says. You matter in your craft, I'm telling you, solid and unwavering. She pinches her lip as she looks down at the canvas before her, and there are so many. There is a lot of uncertainty and anxiety in her heart that it's all a fantasy that will never materialize, but the genuineness in. She feels as though she has never heard anyone speak to her because of Keanu's gaze and his speech pattern.
I don't have a place to reside, so how can she be this distant? When I'm barely surviving, I even start to consider entering a gallery. Keanu's reaction. Additional softening, I'm sure of that, and it won't. To be simple, but if you don't even have the opportunity to live your life as you see fit, what good is it to survive? She spent so much time surviving so many things that she wanted his words to hit her like a tsunami. She spent days merely surviving the next hour and minute, forgetting what it was like to actually live for a reason, but perhaps Keanu is giving her an opportunity to. Keanu goes on, remember that I can't guarantee you anything, but what I can. All I can do at this time is get you the proper resources and exposure. The woman's hands shake as she reaches for her artwork, but rather than experiencing the typical defeat she has while contemplating her work, there's a little glimmer of optimism in her chest that had not existed for years. For the first time in what seems like an eternity, she glances at the artwork and then back at Keanu, and she doesn't feel like a failure. I'm at a loss for words, she confesses, her voice breaking. I've given up. I'm not sure if I can believe you, Keanu. You smile softly, but you don't have to trust me immediately, but let's begin with something easy. I'll take this painting and get it in. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain when you're around art-savvy folks. You would do that for me, she says, looking at him with tears in her eyes. He nods. I do it because I believe in you, not because I feel sorry for you, and sometimes that's all. When no one else believes for a while, it takes a little faith. The world around them is still busy and none of them talks, yet in this small area of the world, there's two individuals in a silent connection, one with everything to lose and the other with nothing more than the conviction that kindness can occasionally transform everything, and the woman finally inhales. Her hands are still shaking a lot, but I'll trust you, Keanu. gives her a comforting nod, feeling a surge of pride that he typically reserves for those he loves. This is not merely a random act of generosity, rather, it marks the start of something greater, an opportunity for this woman to discover. Returning to her goal and for him to have any impact, no matter how tiny, As he gets up to go, Keanu turns into the life of someone who genuinely deserves it. To take one final glance at her before I return. Hopeful, and he turns to leave the woman with her eyes closed. Her heart raced a little lighter and a little faster as she followed him. The woman doesn't know whether to laugh or cry as the following few days go by, but Keanu's comments keep reverberating in her head. She maintains her optimism by everything she owns, but as the hours pass and reality begins to come back in, she's been disappointed. How could this time be different after so many other times? Then she receives a phone. When she receives a call from an unknown number, she initially believes it to be a telemarketing or other fraud, but when something inside of her tells her to pick up, she reluctantly responds. "Hi, this is Lisa, the artist whose name makes my heart skip a beat." When they spoke, Keanu used this name. "Yes, it's Emily who's calling. Mr. Reeves from Law Art Collective contacted us regarding one of your pieces that he thought was especially fascinating, and we would want to arrange a meeting to display it at our gallery." Lisa's breath stops in her. "Wait, hold on, what did Keanu Reeves say about my artwork?" Emily answers, "We would like to meet with you to talk about how we can proceed because we share your belief in your work." Lisa is mute for a considerable amount of time, unable to comprehend what is being placed. It's impossible that Keanu truly believed her artwork was excellent enough to be shown in a gallery. He's well known. There's no time to mistrust Emily, but why would a wealthy man care about her? Continues, "This Friday, we have a spot open for you. Would you be able to take Lisa's hands?" She trembles as she presses the phone to her ear, recalling the last time she experienced such a rush. "I'll be there," she says, "but I'm also afraid that this is really happening." When the phone ends, Lisa stands in the middle of the street, almost incredulous, uncertain if she can hardly comprehend what to do. Should she laugh or cry? It feels like a dream that someone of Keanu's caliber would take the effort to submit her artwork to a gallery. Over the course of the following few days, Lisa anxiously gets ready, cleans herself, and purchases the best clothing she can afford. And puts her paintings away. She isn't very proud or happy, but for the first time. When Friday comes around, Lisa feels as though there is a chance that things might change after all these years. She enters the gallery looking a complete mess, trembling, and uncertain. The air around her smells of paint passion and the gentle murmur of discussion and the exquisite artwork.
While she waits for Emily to arrive, she may be about to meet the people who will forever alter her life. Observes the artwork on exhibit from well-known painters whose talent is. Lisa feels uncomfortable standing there with her canvas in her hands, uncertain as to whether she actually belongs. What if they dislike my artwork? What if Keanu was simply being nice? But then, as though on cue, Emily approaches her with a friendly, "I'm delighted you were able to make it." Lisa's nerves exclusively. You must be Lisa because you grin. Deepen. Yet she manages to smile nervously. I didn't believe this to be true. I'm still in shock. Emily chuckles softly, and Keanu has faith in you. We can't wait to see your work, so let's have a look. They entered a tiny room in the back where the gallery's soft conversation fades. Lisa places her artwork on a table, her hands still trembling. Emily closely inspects it, her expression solemn, Lisa's heart thumping in her chest. After what seems like a lifetime, Emily eventually looks up at her. Her face lit up with a smile, demonstrating the depth of your emotion. Captured something very unique here. Lisa's breath catches. You mean it? Emily responds, we'd love it. Keanu was correct to send it to us for this feature. Lisa is still in shock. Tears well up in eyes of relief and shock that this is actually happening. Emily nods that it is, and it's only the beginning. We'll assist you in putting your work where it belongs. Lisa is overwhelmed with appreciation. Flood over her. She's not sure how she'll ever pay Keanu back for what he witnessed. Something in her when nobody else did, and soon her artwork will be seen by everyone, but she's only just getting started. After exhaling a sigh of relief, Emily hears a knock on the door and turns away. I was a little taken aback, which is odd because I didn't anticipate anyone else. The door opens and, during walks, Keanu Reeves himself gives Lisa a warm smile and time seems to be slowing down for the man who began this entire journey, who stood directly in front of her, saying softly, "You did it." He had faith in her when she didn't believe it herself. "I knew you were full of pride, Lisa," and she's shocked by what she's hearing. She finds it difficult to reply, but she eventually manages to say, "Thank you. You have my sincere gratitude for believing in me," Keanu says with a modest smile. Smile. You only needed to believe in yourself. You didn't need my approval. The word struck her like a revelation, the last piece of a puzzle, and she had no idea that she was resolving Keanu's conviction that it was just a spark. Lisa examines her own resolve and risk-taking skills, which led her to this point. For the first time in years, she feels that the picture is suddenly surrounded by those who would assist it reach the world. Once more, not only in her artwork but also in herself, and when Keanu leaves his piece. After finishing, Lisa experiences a surge of appreciation, hope, and the awareness that sometimes one person's generosity can alter the trajectory of a lifetime, and the days that follow that encounter become hazy. Together, in a frenzy of nerves and excitement, Lisa's painting seeks only a silent representation of her essence. The opening night is approaching, and the pressure is mounting as they proudly hang in one of LA's most prominent art galleries. Is starting to build. Now is her opportunity to demonstrate that this is more than just a show. Herself to demonstrate to the world that her art is more than simply a side endeavor. It is her reality. Prepares herself for the sea of successful well-known by practicing her opening remarks all day before the event. Individuals who will swarm the gallery with the idea of speaking in front of them, allowing them to view her and evaluate her paintings. Makes her feel small and uncomfortable and causes a tight knot of worry to form in her stomach. Like she's drowning, but Keanu's words keep coming back to her. You didn't need. You simply had to have faith in yourself for me to believe in you. When Lisa got to the exhibition that evening, the space is already bustling with activity, and the walls are covered in breathtaking artwork from a range of painters. But her picture, which was her first genuine foray into the realm of fine art, is framed and radiant.
She has a surge of pride under the bright lights, but the nervousness still permeates. She wonders if kids will find it appealing and comprehend it as an event. Begins, Lisa is unable to ignore the whispers and the looks from passers-by. Some are unappreciative of her painting, while others step back and gaze intently. The room is buzzing with a mixture of critical discourse and respect for Lisa. Stands off to the side, feeling both invisible and hyper-aware at the same time, her heart racing as she attempts to calm herself, but it seems like everything is happening too quickly. People are approaching her artwork, leaving comments on it, and she has always been at ease isolating herself, yet conversation makes her feel panicked. From condemnation, but this is distinct, this is genuine, and then a voice emerges. Lisa thinks this painting is so beautiful that it makes her gasp. A well-dressed man who is obviously a major person in the art world is in her throat. His sharp suit stands out against the informal atmosphere of the occasion, and his eyes are fixed on her work. My name is Albert Grant. I've spent years watching this up-and-coming artist in Los Angeles. Painting is so powerful that Lisa is at a loss for words. Her legs are shaking and her lips as dry as she stammers, "Thank you, but I only wanted to record the..." Albert bows his head, acknowledging the beauty of life despite the challenges. "Sincerely, you've succeeded." In a world of polished appearances, it's difficult to find a rawness like this. Mass-produced work, you've accomplished something that many artists can only imagine. Rawness makes Lisa's heart skip a beat, which is just what she was going for in a work. That wasn't just lovely but also told the truth, and this person is from. It's amazing that the very center of the art world is confirming it before she can reply to another voice. Lisa turns around again, and to her astonishment, Keanu is standing just behind her. Albert's sly smirk appears as soon as they meet Lisa's nervous gaze. Immediately at ease, Albert seems to be her compass in this storm of uncertainty. "Keeps going, Keanu. I've been hearing about your work, you've always had a knack for." Keanu smiles his talent, but it's modest. "I just pointed out where Lisa did the rest." His remarks make Lisa's heart skip a beat, as she is the true talent here. He has always been someone who had faith in her, and now he's supporting her once more. The approval she's always required, and as the evening wears on, more people assemble around her, painting olive. The murmur of praise grew louder as they were enthralled, and by the end of In the evening, Lisa stands in the middle of a group of admirers who are curious about her background, thinking, vision. And Albert turns back to Lisa just when she believes things can't be any better. "You are more than just an artist, you are a force that we would like to represent, and I believe we can help you achieve great things." Lisa's heart is pounding so hard that she can hardly stop it. "You're saying that you want to sign me?" Albert nods. "You're talented. Give you the recognition you merit, this is only the beginning." She starts crying as she nods, stunned. This is all she's ever dreamed of and everything she believed was. "I don't know how to express my appreciation," she says as she turns to face Keanu. She whispers, her voice shaking with emotion, and Keanu lightly touches. He looked warm and friendly on her shoulder. "You don't need to thank me, you already did. When you felt like giving up, you had the strength to persevere, so I gave you a." Suddenly Lisa's heart swells with pride as she sees her painting again. This was her. She believed that the moment that would alter everything would never arrive, but here she was, standing on the. Lisa is aware of the edge of her new life as the public continues to appreciate her work. That this is only the beginning and that there would be obstacles in her path, but for the first time, she feels prepared. She is now more than just an artist, she has a future, and it all began with a chance meeting on the street a few weeks ago. There is a flurry of anticipation and unexpected uncertainty in the art world after Lisa's gallery debut. Offerings begin to come in, magazine stories are written, and the scary faraway land feels closer to her than before. Although she has received invitations to many exhibitions, yet despite all of this accomplishment, there is still a gnawing. Lisa is unable to answer the question, is this really who I am? Success has arrived quickly, and while she is appreciative that people are beginning to put more pressure on her to continue producing at this new, higher level,